looking at it.
Mine says, look at this, update spyware protection.
Good evening. I'd like to call the October 10th, 2016 legislative session to order. A couple of announcements. Please, if you would, silence all electronic devices. If you do receive a phone call and would like to take it, please exit the room and take it in the hall. Should there be an emergency during the meeting, please exit the room, make a right-hand turn and proceed to the end of the hall and down the stairs. If for some reason that exit is blocked, please make a left-hand turn and then a right and down the stairs. And if you need any assistance, please let us know and we'll be happy to assist you. I don't think, is Reverend Hancock in the room? All right, since Reverend Hancock is not here, I would ask everyone to please take a moment of silence to reflect in their own way and to guide us through this meeting. Thank you very much. Please now rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President, council members, thank you. Good evening to all of you. I have a couple of proclamations that I would like to read tonight. We recognize that our residents in our city may be going through things that we are not collectively going through. There are challenges that are individual, that are personal. Challenges that may affect our well-being and our health. And tonight I'm gonna read two proclamations and declare 2 days or a day and a month that help us reflect on and remember again what certain residents in our city may be going through. You know, whenever we think our challenges are here at the council table or in the mayor's office are really challenging, you know, I think we've got to remember again that we've got it pretty good, and there are a lot of people who need our support and need our love and care. So the first proclamation I'm going to read is regarding dysautonomia, and I didn't have to practice that at all to say it.
For 3 days.
Dysautonomia. So bear with me. Whereas dysautonomia is a group of medical conditions that result in a malfunction of the automatic nervous system, which is responsible for automatic bodily functions such as respiration, heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, temperature control, and more. And whereas some forms of dysautonomia are considered rare diseases, such as multiple system atrophy or pure autonomic failure, while other forms of dysautonomia are common, impacting millions of people in the U.S. and around the world, such as diabetic autonomic neuropathy, cardiogenic syncope, what's that? Syncope, like syncopation, got it. I should have practiced every word. And, oh wow, this just gets harder and harder. And postural, postural, orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and it was postural that I had a challenge with, right? And whereas some forms of dysautonomia can be very disabling and cause social isolation, stress on the families of those impacted, financial hardship, while other forms of dysautonomia can result in death, causing tremendous pain and suffering for those impacted and their loved ones. And whereas dysautonomia impacts people of any age, gender, race, or background, an increased awareness about dysautonomia will help patients get diagnosed and treated earlier, save lives, and foster support for individuals and families coping with dysautonomia in Salisbury, in our community. And whereas Dysautonomia International is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that advocates on behalf of patients living with dysautonomia and encourages communities to celebrate Dysautonomia Awareness Month each October around the world. And whereas we seek to recognize the contributions of the professional medical community, patients, and family members who are working to educate our citizenry about dysautonomia, now therefore I, Jacob R. Day, Mayor of the City of Salisbury, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2016 as Dysautonomia Awareness Month in our city, and invite all of our citizens to join me as we observe this month in an effort to increase awareness of this debilitating and sometimes fatal disease. Do we have representatives of Dysautonomia International here? Come on up. Would you like to say anything, share anything? No? Okay. Let me just present this to you.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's my understanding, without checking, however, that there are fewer difficult words in this next proclamation. We'll find out. So this next proclamation is about a special day that we're going to recognize today. Before I read this, what I'd like to do is invite Amanda Jarman, if she's in the room, forward. If you don't mind. Would you just, it's all right. Would you just stand up here with me? Okay. So Amanda is a special type of person, somebody who has been through the fight, one of the most challenging fights in life, and is standing here right next to me now. And she's a cancer survivor. I hope that's okay for me to say. So whereas a cancer survivor, let me read through this and then we'll. Whereas a cancer survivor is defined as anyone living with a history of cancer from the moment of diagnosis through the remainder of life. And there are more than 14.5 million cancer survivors in America. And whereas since over 1.6 million new cancer cases will be diagnosed in the United States this year, increased access to quality cancer care, screening, and prevention, especially among minorities and the medically underserved, must be a top priority in our community. And whereas each October, organizations promote awareness of breast cancer, prevention options, and ongoing steps toward a cure to this disease that affects women and men alike. And whereas, as with many illnesses, prevention and early detection are the keys to survival. And many organizations throughout the city and nation promote awareness of cancer, prevention options, and ongoing steps toward a cure. And whereas with the display of bold pink ribbons, which you can see outside of our government office building and all over town, we stand in solidarity with breast cancer survivors this month and thank their advocates, medical professionals, researchers, and caregivers dedicated to fighting for a world without cancer. Now, therefore, I, Jacob R. Day, Mayor of the City of Salisbury, along with the City Council, do hereby proclaim October 10th, 2016 as Cancer Survivors Day in the City of Salisbury. We salute cancer survivor Amanda Jarman and all cancer survivors and urge our citizens to join in this joyous celebration of life. And we are,
Thank you.
I'm so honored that you're standing here with me and that you're able to stand here.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Can I invite your husband up real quick?
This was a surprise date.
That's right. So, so your husband made this happen.
He's the best.
Yeah, obviously. So your husband made this happen. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one, I want to give this proclamation to you,
Thank you.
and two, we have a little Salisbury gift bag for you.
Aw,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Of course.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, this time I would entertain a motion to adopt the legislative agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Jackson, Mr. Muir, Hoda. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boda, Ms. Jackson. Ms. Nichols, good evening.
On the consent agenda this evening, we have resolution number 2671, approving the reappointment of Cindy Pilchard to the Ethics Commission for term ending October 2020. Resolution number 2672, approving the reappointment of Neil Carey to the Ethics Commission for term ending October 2020. Resolution number 2673, approving the appointment of Ryan Danaher to the Sustainability Advisory Committee Green Team for term ending October 2019. Resolution number 2674, approving the reappointment of Nancy Nyquist to the Marina Committee for term ending October 2018. Resolution number 2675, approving the appointment of Dorothy Carroll Smith to the Friends of Poplar Hill Mansion Board of Directors for term ending October 2019. Resolution number 2676, approving the appointment of Elizabeth Wolf to the Friends of Poplar Hill Mansion Board of Directors for term ending October 2019. Resolution number 2677, approving the appointment of Shin Chu to the Friends of Poplar Hill Mansion Board of Directors for term ending October 2019. Resolution number 2678, approving the appointment of Eushani Shields to the Friends of Poplar Hill Mansion Board of Directors for term ending October 2019. Resolution number 2679, approving the appointment of Sharon Murphy to the Friends of Poplar Hill Mansion Board of Directors for term ending October 2019. And resolution number 2680, authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement with Shore Transit. That concludes the consent agenda. And I think we have some appointees here.
Yes. If you are, if when I call your name, if you're here, please stand. Cindy Pilchard, Neil Carey, Ryan Danier, Nancy Nyquist, Dorothy Carroll Smith, Elizabeth Wolf, Shin Chu, Shani Shields. These are our candidates. All those in favor, please. Oh, Sharon Murphy, did I miss somebody? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. There's some on the back. This is a big one. Sharon Murphy. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Congratulations, everyone, and thank you very much for your service. Appreciate it. Okay. I'll entertain a motion now to approve ordinance number 2401 for the second reading.
So moved.
Second. Ms. Jackson and Mr. Boda. Good evening, Mr. Tillman.
Good evening. This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, creating a bike route which will run along West Isabella Street from the intersection at Route 50 to the intersection at Delaware Avenue. Whereas the City of Salisbury desires to encourage cycling throughout the city, and whereas the proposed bicycle route will be in both directions along West Isabella Street from the intersection of West Isabella Street and Route 50 to the intersection of West Isabella Street and Delaware Avenue, and whereas in order to define the dedicated bicycle lane, the appropriate lane striping and lane markings must be provided on the pavement, and whereas in order to provide a bicycle route, portions of the road must be marked as shared between motorized vehicular traffic and bicycle traffic, and whereas in order to define portions of the roadway that are to be available for usage by bicycles, appropriate shared markings will be installed on the pavement, and whereas in order to clearly define the route, appropriate signage will be installed, and whereas the curb-to-curb street width and parking on affected streets will be unchanged by the proposed bicycle route, and whereas the Director of Public Works has determined that the impact of the proposed bicycle route on vehicular traffic flow will be minimal. Now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the City of Salisbury, Maryland, that a bicycle route be created in both directions along West Isabella Street from the intersection of US Route 50 to the intersection of Delaware Avenue, and that bicycles be permitted to travel to this route in both dedicated and shared lanes, and be it further enacted and ordained by the City of Salisbury, this ordinance shall take effect upon final passage.
Questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of ordinance number 2401, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Mrs. Nichols, do we have any public comment?
No.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. President, council members, I just wanted to take this time, now that we're gathering together and we are about a week past the worst of it, to just publicly thank our first responders, city employees, council members, and neighbors for their response to and assistance in the recovery from the storm that we saw, the historic storm and flooding that we saw a week ago. So I just want to thank them, and you know, we said it a week ago, but we were still in the midst of recovery, and since that time we've seen most of the condemnations lifted, many in the Delaware Avenue area, almost all in the Canal Woods area except for the 6 on the ground floor. So just want to again say thank you to each of you at this table and to our employees and residents.
Second that. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.